Hello. Hello. I need to start as soon as possible. Today, HoloLive, the HoloLive series, ENreco, Enigmatic Recollection, Chapter 3 is coming out tonight, and, so I'm gonna be trying to read all of the lore before 9 p.m., so that's an hour and a half to read all of it. Come on. Okay, let me pull this up on my, okay. I should start as soon as possible, but I have to, ooh, we're getting really close to 200. 2 away. Guys, I'm so excited. Thank you, y'all. Oh, I just got done eating. Like, literally, like, a minute ago. Stream. Okay, baller. Alright, chat. Time to start reading. I gotta put on my... on here. Only in hope, salvation. Okay, chat. Are you ready to read all this? In the Okay, there we go. Alright, y'all. Volume's down. Okay. I've only watched 2 episodes, and it was from Elizabeth's perspective, so yeah. So we're just gonna read it all. Ooh. There's music. Wait, I wanna make it so you guys can hear it. I need to make it louder. I can't make it any louder than that. I'll see if I can. Dark mode, please. Thank you. Wait, turn this up. Oh my... Whoa. Okay, there you go. Wait, this is sick. Is it gonna play start again? Is it gonna do the actual thing? Ooh! Don't want that. In-game music. Chapter 2. No, we need to start with Chapter 1. I think that should be good audio-wise. Oh wow, it's really loud. Way louder than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be quieter than me. Actually, I can have it up. I just need to turn it down for myself. Okay, that should be good audio-wise. Okay, turn it down a little on the stream, just so it's quieter than me. Okay. Alright, chat, time to start reading. Starts with that? Okay. So we're gonna do the overall first, and then we'll do each one. And so the journey begins. Summoned from the fantastical kingdom of Libestal by its king, 19 heroes, each with their unique quirks, are tasked with a vital mission to combat the looming threat known as the Stains. Yet, this new reality is not without its complications. Each of them, stripped of their memories, awoke with no recollection of their past lives, leaving them to navigate the strange world as strangers even to themselves. Chaos and confusion ruled the day, which was to be expected. The girls were divided into 4 distinct guilds, each representing a unique philosophy. Jade Sword, the beacon of the righteous and loyal, where great threats are faced with even greater courage. Cerulean Cup, the sanctum of healing where the spirit of empathy and devotion thrives. Amber Coin, the home for glory seekers with ambition and vision, where even the closest allies become the fiercest rivals. That was a jarring music change. Scarlet Wand, the haven for the curious, where knowledge and creativity are valued above all. Tasked and trusted by the king, the heroes set out to acclimate to their new world. They learned about its intricate systems, including forming parties, using telepathic devices for communication, undertaking quests to earn coins, and more. Central to their roles were the unique weapons bestowed upon them. Each weapon possessed a special ability or revelation tied exclusively to its wielder, a power as mysterious as it was significant. The day's primary mission led them to the underworld dungeon, a foreboding place tied to the essence of death. Success in conquering the dungeons promised a reward of profound value, the restoration of fragments of their lost memories. However, this was far from the day's only story. The heroes summoned by the king proved to be anything but ordinary. Beyond the main quest, countless shenanigans unfolded, along with budding relationships and unexpected narratives. For every grand objective, there were personal moments of humor, mischief, and discovery. Okay. So, where is this that I'm reading this from? Chapter recap? No. That's a chapter recap. That's not what I want. How do I open that again? Wait. Come back. Oh my gosh. How do I make that part that I just read come back? Day recap, okay. Alright, I'm gonna start. We'll do that one by one. We'll start with Fuawa. For day one. A soft, timid Bao Bao escaped from Fuawa as she woke up in the white box. Everything was unfamiliar. Someone seemed oddly familiar to her, Mokoko Abyssguard. But like Mokoko, Fuawa was completely lost and confused. As she moved around, sniffing those around her, she couldn't shake the feeling that Narissa was trouble, much like Mokoko had sensed. When talking to Raura, Fuawa introduced herself as a demon dog, though her gentle demeanor and iconic giggle made it hard to imagine anything demonic about her. She radiated warmth, more fluffy than fearsome. During battles with the Stain King, Fuawa revealed her weapon, a pair of sharp blue claws. When she activated their revelation, a whirlwind of slashes tore through the enemy. After the battle, she was swording the Jade Sword Guild, ready to begin her journey. Fuawa's adventure in the kingdom was off to a calm start. She explored a new world, took on quests, and like always, found herself adorably confused most of the time. But that was part of her charm, and everyone around her found it oddly endearing. Oddly, Mokoko's voice would occasionally echo around Fuawa, even when Mokoko wasn't nearby, as if the two were in the same room. To avoid further confusion while filling out tasks, Fuawa tried her best to stay focused when reading the requirements. She was so focused that she completely ignored the hot pink one's attempt to greet her. Later, Fuawa joined forces with Narissa, Bijou, Mokoko, and Raura to tackle the underworld dungeon. The conquest, though chaotic, ended successfully, with the group recovering memories of Mori Calliope. Afterward, Fuawa spent time with the group before calling it a day. Okay, we'll go Mokoko. Mokoko woke up in a strange white room, completely confuzzled and on edge, with everyone around her appearing suspicious. Backed into a corner and overwhelmed, she let her series of hers, sounds. I can't impersonate it, but it's. If you know, you know. Her usual response when she didn't know what was going on. Thankfully, the tension eased as she got to know the others. They were weird but friendly. She also occasionally let out a bow bow as a way to express her emotions. During the battle with the Stain King, Mokoko didn't have the best start, being the first to fall. She didn't stay down long though. That's when her true weapon made its debut. A pair of sharp pink claws. When their revelation activated, Mokoko unleashed a wild flurry of slashes, her movements filled with raw fury. After the battle, she found herself sorted into the Jade Sword Guild. Her first encounter in the guild was with Fuawa Abyssguard, who looked so similar to her, it was almost uncanny. Just when Mokoko thought she'd gotten over her initial fear of this new world, a different fear crept in: loneliness. When checking that Jade Sword arena, she wandered off alone and realizing she was left behind, began to panic. Luckily, her guildmates found her in time and promised they'd always stick by her side. See Elizabeth Mokoko by your side! I remember that. When her fears calmed, Mokoko dove into learning about the strange world. She lit up with joy when she figured out how to ride a horse and couldn't stop laughing as she repeatedly destroyed a berry bush for fun. Though she was often confused, it didn't stop her from having a blast. Later, Mokoko teamed up with Bijou, Narissa, Fuawa, and Raura to tackle the underworld dungeon. Let's just say it was chaos, filled with shrieks and yelps, mostly from Mokoko and Fuawa. Despite her best efforts to be brave, she looked more like a frightened pup than a fierce guard dog. Through many screams, screeches, and numerous plunges to their doom, the five of them managed to conquer the dungeon and recover members of Mori Calliope. Afterwards, she hung out with the four girls for a bit, getting very frustrated when she got lost, got escorted by mysterious Hero 1 to the shore, and finally decided to call it a day. It was a day full of confusion and excitement for Mokoko. Her pure, innocent nature made her stand out, and everyone appreciated her for it. Hopefully, she'd stay that way, untouched by greed or temptation, especially when things like, say, a lottery came into play. Oh, oh boy, I remember that. Elizabeth, this is stuff I know, but I'll read it anyways. Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame, once the mighty queen of the Bloodflame Kingdom, awoke in the fantastical kingdom of Libestal with no memory of her past life. Confusion was inevitable, but within her burned an unyielding fire, a deep sense of justice, and a natural instinct to protect the weak. It was no surprise, then, that she was placed on the Jade Sword, the guild known as the beacon of righteousness and loyalty. Elizabeth wielded a massive claymore named Thorn, its fiery scarlet hue reflecting her unbreakable spirit. The sheer size of the blade made Shakira feel a tad self-conscious about her own weapon. But Elizabeth, ever the night, reassured her that size didn't matter, it's how you wield it. She was, after all, a symbol of knighthood, diligent, kind, and beloved by all. Or so it should have been. Reality painted a different picture. Instead of a tale of a noble knight, Elizabeth's first day became a comedy of errors. She was run over by horses, got lost repeatedly even while searching for her own guild, left by her lonesome after everyone promised her a duel, and was teased endlessly for being mistaken as a member of the Amber Coin. The cherry on top, she was branded a harlot simply for hushing the cups of the hot pink one, albeit without consent. During all this, her internal music seemed to change with the situation, as if her life were a melodramatic play. Despite the chaos, Elizabeth found solace in her guildmates, with whom she felt an undeniable connection. Perhaps her nature was to be kind, to stand for the weak no matter the mishaps. She felt this strongly with the two doggos. At the end of the day, alongside Jonathan G. and Nino Ina, both members of the Cerulean Cup, Elizabeth conquered the underworld dungeon, reclaiming the memories of Mori Calliope. It marked not just the end of her chaotic first day, but the beginning of her journey in this strange new world. John Watson! The blonde maiden awoke in the mysterious white box, completely disoriented. Questions flooded her mind. Am I dead? Am I in limbo? Why do people have buttons floating above their heads? But those concerns were secondary. The real issue, she had no memory of anything, not even her own name. Her first interaction was with a Sharky girl, who to her observation had a questionable smell. The people around her seemed equally bizarre, confused and overwhelmed. The blonde tried to break out, but escape was impossible. She soon discovered that she had been summoned by a king to save the kingdom. Save it? Not her style. Instead, she had a different plan: take over the kingdom. Revolution? No thanks. She was more about revolution. Despite overhearing murmurs from others, including Jonathan, about her rebellious plans, the blonde was undeterred. Her determination to overthrow the king was clear, evident in how she brushed off any explanations from the guild masters and focused on her single goal. During the battle with the Stain King, Ame, who introduced herself as John Watson, revealed her weapon, a magnifying glass. Its revelation is a bonk on the enemy's head. Cute, but not exactly earth-shattering. After the battle, she was sorted into the Jade Sword Guild, a group dedicated to protecting the king. Oh, the irony. John's journey to overthrow the kingdom officially began. True to her rebellious nature, she quickly made a name for herself by riding her horse into random bystanders. Still, even revolutionaries need to learn the ropes. John begrudgingly completed quests and figured out how the world worked, all while having chaotic run-ins with others. One notable incident, she involved Jonathan making a scene after spawning her, but thanks to her guildmates, she was able to slither out of trouble. Then came the moment John had been waiting for, her attempt to assassinate the king. She sneaked her way up into the kingdom's castle, stealthily approached the king, and carefully lined up her strike. With a dramatic flourish, she activated her revelation, bonking the king on the head with her magnifying glass. She followed up with a flurry of attacks using her stone sword and even dug a hole beneath him with a pickaxe. The king was surely gone now. Actually, none of her attacks worked. Defeated but undeterred, she vowed to return for vengeance. Later, Jonathan confronted her again. This time, John managed to persuade him, spinning a tale that convinced him to let her go. See Jonathan on King Clark. With that hurdle cleared, she capped off her day with a prank to call Gura, claiming to represent the Libestonian charity. Unsurprisingly, Gura wasn't fooled and rejected her scam. Satisfied with the chaos she had caused, she called it a day. Shakira. The maiden orange awoke in a mysterious white box. Tanakisha Korea. No, it's Shakira. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's Shakira. The maiden orange awoke in a mysterious box with no memories of her past, much like everyone else trapped there. Despite the confusion, she realized she could speak a language called German, quickly connected with Cecilia Immergreen, another German speaker, when they first crossed paths in the box, with a conversation only they understood. Though Kiara was baffled, her purpose became clear when summoned by the king to fight off the states. She was to protect the Lebestians, embracing her role. She adopted the name Tanakisha Karya, though it proved difficult for others to pronounce, leading to the nickname Shakira. I like that. There's Lebestians. Her revelation took the form of a blazing sword, burning phoenix, causing a path of flames through its enemies. Shakira was sorted into the Ambercoin Guild, a lively group that nearly gained another member, the hot pink one, before the cerulean cut reclaimed the maiden, despite Kiara's bold attempt to recruit her. But no worries, as her guild had a pink member of its own. There's Rara. Determined to forge her own path, Kiara embarked on her first major quest with her guildmates, delving into the underworld dungeon. There, they sought to recover the memories of Mori Calliope, someone Kiara felt an inexplicable deep connection to. With each step of their journey, Kiara grew more resolved to uncover the truth behind the strange new world and her place within it. Oh, and she also drowned Gura. I thought fish could swim. Peasant the Bay. When she suddenly found herself in a mysterious white box surrounded by strangers, her immediate reaction was a panic. Huh? Where am I? Who are all these folks? Crikey, what's happening? Let me out! That was the rat's entrance to the fantasy world. It was understandable, to say the least. She claimed it cornered herself, staying put like a feral animal, ranting the crazed old man would about the end of the world. Anyone who dared approach was met with a wild-eyed glare and a threatening babbling. She was not having it. She made it clear to everyone that she was a rat, a very weak one in fact, and had no interest in playing hero or whatever it was that she was summoned for. Her first interaction was Tam Gander, who casually mentioned she was destined to become the next queen of Libestal, or so she claimed. Bay, starstruck by the revelation, saw an opportunity. If Tam became queen, maybe she could convince the king to send Bay back to her old life, introducing her as Peasant the Bay. She swore to protect Tam in hopes of earning that favor. During the battle with the Stain King, Bay briefly entertained the idea that she might actually be destined for a heroic title. That hopeful thought vanished the moment a laser beam hit her square in the face. Her weapon of choice, a die, mirrored her unpredictable nature. Its revelation, rolling a number between 1 and 6, with the resulting explosions matching the roll. That's really cool. I didn't know she had that. Despite her paranoia, she made it through the fight and was sorted in the Ambercoin Guild alongside 3 others. Once the kingdom, Bay's adventures continued. She also immediately clashed with Cleopatra Eisenhower da Vinci III the Great, known as 3, who was also part of the Ambercoin. What? Wait, who was that? Well, I guess we'll find out in a little bit. 3 did make fun of Bay before when someone tried to claim her precious corner, but this solidified the fact that her guildmate was not someone she could get along with. Who's 3? The two developed a love-hate relationship that leaned heavily on the hate. See, Bay wait, no, who's 3? Oh, May! Wait, come back. Okay. Despite her grumbling and reluctance, Bae completed her quest diligently. She hated the king for dragging her away from her comfortable life, but went along with the tasks nonetheless. Toward the end of the day, she and her guildmates tackled the underworld dungeon and recovered memories of Mori Calliope. For a moment, Bae considered the possibility that life here might not be so bad. Maybe she could make friends, build relationships, and fulfill her role as a hero. Yeah, no. One dungeon was more than enough. After that, she disappeared, retreating to what hoped would be an eternal nap, leaving her guildmates to handle the rest of the journey without her. A true hero's exit. Adios, suckers. Alright, oh, I should have marked it as red. Who's next? Aurora. Rara awoke in the white box and, true to her nature, did what any self-respecting big cat might do. She lashed out a few unfortunate souls and, oddly enough, offered comfort to a lost dog. The image of a fearsome panther only lasted for a moment, though, as not too long after, she was very content being doted on, purring as if those pet her, like everyone else summoned into this world. She had no recollection of her past. When Bijou introduced herself, Rara followed suit, though Bijou struggled to pronounce her name, instead calling her Wawa. Wawa! During the confrontation with the Stain King, Rara's prowess came to light. Her weapon of choice was a pair of sleek white claws. Upon activating their revelation, she moved with the swiftness and agility of a panther, teleporting around her enemy and delivering a flurry of slashes. After the battle, Rara was assigned to the Amber Coin. Within the guild, Rara was treated much like a cherished pet. Her guildmates found her endearing, caring for her attentively, and often searching for her when she wandered off. Shakira, in particular, took it upon herself to ensure Rara's comfort and well-being. Rara was not one to talk, but rather she remained quiet and passive during most interactions, preferring to listen and occasionally offering a chuckle, a wheeze, or a nod. Throughout the day, she participated in various quests, often relying on her guildmates' assistance. Together, they successfully conquered the underworld dungeon and recovered the memories of Mori Calliope. While many would have taken a moment to rest, Rara chose to continue exploring the world. Her adventures led to several memorable encounters. She met new faces, laughed at their antics, and at one point suggested trading Gura's life for her hat. Rara's fondness of building soon became apparent. She gathered materials and began constructing a base for her guild alongside Shakira. In doing so, she was among the first heroes to focus on such tasks, finding great satisfaction in the process. One of the more entertaining moments of her adventure involved Tam Candor. Oh no! Tam made repeated efforts to teach Rara the correct pronunciation of her name, but Rara consistently mispronounced it, much to Tam's frustration. Their conversation took an interesting turn when Tam declared her destiny to become the Queen of Libesto. Rara, however, countered with a confident assertion that she was destined for that role. I remember that. That was funny to watch. Her interactions with others were just as unpredictable. She accidentally hurt Nerissa's feelings by bluntly saying that they weren't friends. She also tried to charm Jonathan with some suggestive gestures, only to casually mention that she planned to overthrow the king. Later on, deciding that the trust of her future subjects was important, Rara volunteered to help Nerissa, Bijou, and the dog-leg twins in the underworld dungeon, as she was to be the next queen after all. Although it's debatable whether her bursting laughter when Fuaba and Bijou fell into a pool of lava would be considered queenly behavior. After helping them complete the dungeon, Rara finally called it a day. It had been a fun and eventful one, and perhaps the first steps toward her self-proclaimed destiny as the next queen of Libesto. Baller. Oh, it's time for Cleopatra Eisenhower da Vinci the Great the Third. Mume woke up in the white box, and just like everyone else, she didn't lose her marbles? Her memories. I don't know why I said marble. She didn't lose her marbles. Just like everyone else, she didn't lose her memories. Wait, hold on, something isn't right. Let's fix that real quick. Bang. Swift head-to-table collision later. Whoa, what happened? Where am I? The man in brown's reaction upon waking up in the white box was the same as everyone else's, confused, dazed, and completely lost. It was very loud there. The noise from all the talking was overwhelming, but our subject, a really quiet observer, simply wandered around, tossing out random one-liners at people. For some reason, though, she saved most of her jabs for Peasant the Bay, but no one knew why, probably not even herself. And as she wandered around, she saw how everyone was trying to break one particular block. Wanting to be helpful, the brown maiden came over to help a hand, and then next thing we know, our hero had somehow skipped ahead and was already fighting the Stained King alone. At the very least, there weren't any voices yammering around her anymore. During the battle, she revealed her weapon of choice, a dagger, when she activated its revelation and unleashed a flurry of rapid slashes toward the targeted enemy. Afterwards, she had a chat with the guildmasters and the king, finding herself amused by the Amber Coin guildmaster's accent. Coincidentally, she was sorted into the Amber Coin Guild. When she first met up with her guildmates after calling Bay a weirdo, Mume introduced herself as Cleopatra Eisenhower da Vinci the Great III. Bay shortened it to 3 for obvious reasons. Later at the quest board, 3's eyes lit up when she saw someone riding a horse. From that moment on, she was all about horses. She enjoyed herself way too much riding around like a knight from some chaotic medieval fair. Unfortunately for everyone else, her idea of fun also included using her steed as a battering ram. What? Although they started off rocky, Mume and Bay ended up singing together for most of the day. Sure, they bickered and called each other names, but somewhere along the way, a weird little friendship formed. By the end of the day, Lee and her guildmates conquered the underworld dungeon, and she recovered Mori Calliope's memories. Her start was odd indeed, but throughout the day, she had fun nonetheless. Here's hoping things stay fun, and that her love for trampling people with horses doesn't get her in too much trouble. I didn't mark her as red. Hold on. Okay. Callie had been working tirelessly. Wait. Okay. I was just looking at something real quick. Yeah, I had to second guess myself what guild Elizabeth was in because she lied so many times about what guild she was in. I'm like, wait, is she in the Jade Sword too? Yeah. Callie had been working tirelessly. Deadlines, projects, you name it. She decided it was time for a well-deserving break, going for a stroll with her beloved deadbeats. But just as she was enjoying her walk, a truck crashed into her, knocking her out and sending her to a mysterious white box. How did a truck manage to take down the literal incarnation of death? No clue, but here we are. When Callie opened her eyes, confusion hit her like a second truck. She couldn't remember anything. Everything looked boxy, voices were everywhere and chaotic. A red figure was shouting. Overwhelmed and disoriented, Callie managed to find a bit of solace after a brief calming exchange with Shakira, whom she quickly took a liking to. And freaking Callie and did my stream restart? No. Okay, I just got the notification. I got kind of scared for a second. I thought my stream restarted, but no. I just only got the okay, never mind. But no, because Shakira and Raura got married, so Callie and Shakira can't. It's devastating, but also I'm happy that Raura isn't going after Elizabeth anymore. And I'm happy for her and Shakira, but now Callie and Shakira can't be together. When Callie, who she quickly took a liking to, Callie soon learned her name is Mori Calliope thanks to the floating text above her head that everyone could see. During the battle with the Stain King, Callie revealed her weapon, a scythe. Its revelation, a deeply slash that cut through enemies with ease. After the battle, she was sorted into the Jade Sword Guild, fitting her strong will and courage. As her journey began, Callie stumbled her way through learning the ropes, tackling quests, forming parties, and figuring out how to use the telekinesis device. Adapting wasn't easy. She even struggled just to enter and leave the kingdom, but Callie's resolve was unbreakable. When who's Frida? And some others kept riding their horses into her and Liz, Callie didn't hesitate to declare she'd duel them to set things right. Callie eventually began building her own small home in the kingdom. Later, she joined the Cerulean Cup members to take on the Underworld dungeon. Before that, however, there was a bit of chaos when Liz, trying to pass an Amber Coin member, accidentally got exposed by Callie, much to Liz's dismay. Callie, blissfully aware of the drama, observed the scene like a lost child. I remember that. Once the underworld dungeon with Tam and the hot pink one, Callie felt something familiar. The bony, eerie atmosphere resonated deeply with her. When she saw a giant skull statue, she instinctively called it father. It wasn't until they conquered the dungeon that her memories returned. She was Mori Calliope, a grim reaper who had rejected the traditional role of taking lives. Instead, she sought a higher purpose, finding beauty and joy in human emotion as a replacement for souls. The return of her memories filled Callie with fear and guilt. She felt like a traitor for abandoning her duties and leaving her people behind, but Tam and her fellow adventurers reassured her, accepting her unconditionally. Afterward, Callie had another chat with Shakira and spent more time exploring the kingdom, preparing for the next a next dungeon with the Cerulean Cup members. She even got called Dad by Koseki Biju, much to her surprise. At the end of the day, a day that included being hit by a truck, losing her memories, navigating chaos, and rediscovering herself, Callie took a moment to reflect. It had been wild, but it wasn't the end. Her enigmatic journey was only just beginning, with many more adventures to come. So true. Who's next? 9 out of 28. Oh, because these are relationships. They don't have relationship of the red and blue, but the wrong red and blue. This is serious, Fauna. The first thing Fauna noticed upon waking in the white box was how absurdly bright it was. Following up with a complaint about how loud everyone's voices were. Complaining seemed like the logical first step when you've lost all your memories, right? Unlike the other heroes, though, Fauna remained calm, collected, and entirely in control. It was as if she'd done this before, casually remarking that the world reminded her of Minecraft, which explained her immediate urge to chop down a lone tree when she spotted one. It wasn't just nostalgia, it was fueled by her OCD. During the battle with the Stain King, Fauna's weapon made its debut, a wand topped with a golden apple. Its revelation, an instant tippy, as she named it, some magical tippy-like dome that trapped its enemies. More importantly, the wand also functioned as a healing tool, making Fauna the only one capable of providing support. So so no one can provide support anymore. We don't, no one can heal. If you die, if you get hurt, too bad. Your healer's not there anymore. In a brief exchange with the Guildmasters, she mimicked the Ambercoin Guildmaster's accent, calling it British, and knowing how good Fauna is with her accents, the voices in her head went into an immediate state of panic. So she was eventually sorted into the Scarlet Wand Guild. Isn't it the same guild as Narissa? I don't know. I think so. Oh yeah, these 5. Okay. After entering a new world, Fauna began familiarizing herself with her surroundings. While completing a quest to slay stains, Fauna discovered something intriguing. She earned money for each stain defeated. The realization amused her, sparking a newfound joy. The stains were no longer just enemies to vanquish for the greater good. They were a source of income. With dollar signs in her eyes, Fauna's motivation shifted ever so slightly as she continued questing with her guildmates. Continuing on, in a memorable moment involving Shakira, the lady in orange, challenged Gura to float on water, given that she had a shark tail. Gura gave it a go and promptly drowned. Fauna, observing the entire fiasco, didn't lift a finger to help. She did, but only after Gura drowned. She did feel pretty guilty about her guildmate, however, because right after Gura cried out, "Healer, where's my heal?" Holding the support title, Fauna felt like it was her responsibility to provide a sincere apology. So she replied, "GG, no worries." Later, Fauna teamed up with her guildmates Gura and Cecilia to conquer the underworld dungeon, where they recovered memories of Mori Calliope. The trio then explored the world further, buying gacha boxes along the way. Gura pulled a ridiculously long pointy hat, prompting Fauna to quip that she looked like a garden gnome. The two later dueled, with Fauna emerging victorious and promptly extorting Gura for some loot, as any good guildmate would. Their next adventure led them to a casino, where Fauna's love of money truly shone. Betting everything on the color green, the color of her money. She won a few rounds, but lost just as many. Still, the thrill of the gamble fueled her, and despite her questionable behavior for a hero, she couldn't get enough. It has to be green this time. After a long day of questing and gambling her life away, Fauna decided to call it a night, but something had awoken within her. It wasn't the thrill of saving the world or helping people, it was the joy of money. Who knows where this newfound passion will lead her? Perhaps a business empire? Perhaps. Shiori Niavella! Shiori woke up in a white box, no memories, full of questions. Who is this? What's that? Where's Waldo? As she wandered around inspecting and judging the others, she frequently conversed with the guardian angels in her head, affectionately calling them Chat. Every time she tried something new, she'd ask, "Chat, am I cooking?" She also faintly recalled the image of a truck heading toward her in a place called New York, hinting at how she might have ended up there. Chat, is this isekai? Her first interactions with the group were predictably odd. She called Bijou rock hard and demanded money from Callie simply because she could. Then she met Narissa, who claimed to be her wife. Shiori, unconvinced, pointed out the lack of a ring and refused to kiss, noting Narissa seemed like she'd kiss anyone. Lore accurate. Shiori's unpredictability was, well, unpredictable. She floated around to whatever place she found interesting and said the most absurd things one can think of. When the Stain King was about to appear, Shiori tried to run from her responsibilities, but was stopped by an invisible barrier. Resigned to her fate, she fought. Or not. Instead of assisting her comrades, she stood off to the side and just watched the entire fight. Nice view from here. Hold on. I'm checking something real quick. Okay. It wasn't until she was forced into a cutscene that she finally started to act. Her weapon, a feather, revealed its revelation. It could shoot magical beams at enemies, though she preferred to say it tickled them to death. After the battle, she was sorted into the Scarlet Wand Guild. As her journey began, Shiori embarked on quests with her guildmates, spending much of her time with her goth comrade Fauna, whom she affectionately called her wonderful, majestic green lady. In return, Fauna referred to Shiori as her wonderful, majestic Oreo. Their conversations meandered through topics like dentists and places like Hot Topics, a prime example of what some might call yapping. Unlike the others, Shiori didn't tackle the underworld dungeon on the first day, as she had other matters to attend to. Left alone with thoughts, she began to question everything. She didn't believe the town was real, suspecting it was part of a complex scheme to keep her memories because she was too dangerous. Shiori didn't like the king, or as she put it, this suspicious place. Her skepticism ran deep, and her unpredictable mind continued to wander as her journey unfolded. How many do I have left? Oh my gosh, I'm not getting through all these tonight. I'm gonna have to go through my favorite storylines and then continue this Wednesday. Cecilia, the very durable automaton, was minding her own business when out of nowhere a grand piano fell on her, knocking her out instantly. Don't you just hate it when random pianos fall from the sky? Indoors, no less? Hate it when that happens. Anyway, upon waking in the mysterious white box, Cecilia was immediately greeted by Shakira, who asked if she spoke German. In German, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. To her surprise, Cecilia did, and the two struck up a hearty conversation. It was a strange way to start, but oddly comforting amid the chaos. Like everyone else, Cecilia had no memory of her past, aside from knowing she liked pizza. During the battle with the Stain King, Cecilia's role was questionable. She didn't actually fight, but justified her idleness by claiming to be standing by as a medic. Shiori also opted out of the fight. The difference? She didn't even have an excuse. She's the medic. Can she heal her? Yeah. For heroes, I need something to drink. I'll finish reading this one first, and then I'll get something to drink. For heroes summoned to save a kingdom, their approach was, well, unconventional. Eventually, Cecilia revealed her weapon, a spear. Upon activating its revelation, it unleashed a flurry of rapid jabs against the enemy. She, like her watchmate, Shiori, was sorted into the Scarlet Wand Guild. Cecilia's adventure officially began with a great enthusiasm, especially after donning the Labestal cloak. She started tackling quests with her guildmates, learning the basics of the world, communication devices, forming parties, and more. Later, Cecilia teamed up with Gura and Fauna to take on the underworld dungeon. She was the most animated, reacting dramatically to every twist and turn on the journey. Together, they conquered the dungeon and unlocked the memories of Mori Calliope. Afterward, the trio decided to hang out in the kingdom, exploring buildings, dueling, and purchasing gacha boxes. Gura's prize, a ridiculously long hat, left Cecilia in fits of laughter. Their day didn't end there. They ventured into a casino to test their luck. Cecilia and Fauna both bet on green, naturally, as green ladies. Cecilia faced some losses, but managed to win back her money in the end. Unlike Gura, who lost everything. Despite the ups and downs, I recognize this tune. I remember this. Despite the ups and downs, Cecilia wrapped up her day feeling fulfilled, looking forward to more adventures with her guildmates, and hoping the fun would continue. Okay, I'm gonna grab something to drink real quick. Hold on.
Yo times 71.
Yo, Atlantic, what's up? Ah. Okay. We're doing some reading. You should listen, it's pretty sick. Narissa Juliet Ravencroft! Oh my god, Juliet! I just read through a little bit. It's funny. You should stick around and listen to this. It's funny and also interesting. Narissa, like everyone else, woke up in a white box with no. Oh my gosh! It starts in 45 minutes. It starts in 45 minutes. I have 45 minutes to get through everything. I'm gonna have to prioritize my favorite ones for tonight and then go through the rest another day. I will. I'm not doing anything else right now. Perfect. We're reading the overview of ENreco, Enigmatic Recollection, before Chapter 3 airs tonight in 45 minutes. Okay. Narissa, like everyone else, woke up in a white box with no memories of her past. Although overwhelmed, she tried her best to start conversations with those around her, having small chats here and there. However, her longest initial was with a maiden in red, Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame. Their chat consisted of simple introductions, but there's an undeniable sense of familiarity, like a deeper connection existed between them. The voice in Narissa's head complicated things further by claiming Shiori was her wife. Hold on a minute. As if that wasn't confusing enough, Narissa also believed Shakira was her wife. She had 2 wives, and that they are destined to save the lesbians? Wasn't this supposed to be a heroic tale about saving a kingdom invaded by dark forces? Saving the woman lovers. Yeah, anyway, during the battle with the Sand King, Narissa's weapon, a large tuning fork, was revealed. Upon activating its revelation, she struck the fork against the enemy's head, creating a shockwave that dealt damage to the enemy. After the battle, she was sorted into the Scarlet Wand Guild. Shakira, like hips don't lie, Shakira? Yeah, close enough. Pretty much. It's Kiara. But in this, her name's Shakira. Oh my gosh. I need to keep drinking water if I'm talking so much. Okay. Venturing into the new kingdom with her guildmates, Narissa began adjusting to her new life. It was anything but smooth. She was baffled by the quest system, randomly earned 100 coins without doing anything, got ambushed by Stains while trying to gather wood, and soft-locked Gura into a trade. And the voices in her head described her as having wet cat energy, whatever that meant. Despite the chaos, Narissa persevered, accompanied by the support and adoration of her guildmates who found her quirks endearing. British, innit? While exploring the kingdom, she overheard a peculiar conversation between Tam and Ravra, watching in silent bewilderment as Ravra laughed hysterically and Tam spiraled into frustration. In the VTuber's chat is the voices in her head. Yeah. As Ravra laughed and Tam, I feel like I just experienced something I wasn't supposed to, Narissa muttered as she walked away. Later, Narissa teamed up with Fuawa, Mokoko, Bijou, and Ravra to tackle the underworld dungeon. The experience was more amusing than frightening, especially when Narissa watched her friends fall into a bottomless lava pit. Despite the mishaps, they conquered the dungeon and recovered Mori Calliope's memories. After a bit more wandering, Narissa called it a day. It had been confusing, chaotic, and a little painful at times, but ultimately fun, and that was all that mattered. Okay, we got 5 more to go for this day. Well, 6 if you include the— wait, no. What? Oh, because we didn't do Gura. Okay, so we have 7, including the king. We don't need to include the king. We can do that another day. Oh, we're at Cerulean Cup now. Gosh. There are many different ways a person may get transported to another world. They may get hit by a truck, get hit by a train, or basically get hit by any moving vehicle. While many heroes claim to have arrived through these methods, Koseki Biju's tale stood out. She was crushed by a giant moe statue, accompanied by multiple vine boom sound effects. Boom. As it was, Biju managed to arrive in the same mysterious white box as others. That was what mattered. Thanks to being referred to as a... Thanks to something many referred to as a stream overlay, she knew her name was Koseki Biju. Being the curious little gem she is, she wasted no time running around asking him important questions, like whether Narissa laid eggs, if Fauna was her mom, or if Shiori was her lover. You know, totally normal first day in another world stuff. She also kept asking people to comment on her feet. During the fight with the Stain King, Biju showed off her weapon of choice, 2 dazzling gems that launched an endless array of radiant gemstones at their foes. After that, she got sorted into the Cerulean Cup Guild, joining the ranks of other not-so-normal heroes. Her journey officially began in the classic Biju fashion with a mix-up. She somehow, while not deliberately, joined the wrong party at first, but it was quickly resolved. While working on a quest outside the kingdom, she discovered a sheep she was strangely attached to and also developed an odd fondness for the world's rocks. She had hesitated to mind them even though it was a part of her task, and she felt an emotional connection to them. Biju later played a key role in the Hot Pink One incident, being the first to find her and calling in the rest of the guild for support. Despite her contributions, Biju secretly claimed to be an undercover agent of evil, plotting to overthrow the system someday. She even went as far as to offer assistance to John Watson assassinating the king, proving she's more unpredictable than the king might have anticipated. Bah. As her day continued, Biju eventually teamed up with Narissa, the 2 doggos, and later Raura to take on the underworld dungeon. Amidst plenty of chaos and screaming, they managed to recover Mori Calliope's memories, but Biju's day didn't end there. True to her adventurous spirit or questionable priorities, she decided to gamble all her money. So unsurprisingly, she lost 60% of it, but in her words, 99% of gamblers quit before they lose. ? She persevered. Eventually, her luck turned around. She won it all back. Her actions, however, may have raised some eyebrows among the voices in her head. After all, one of the supposed heroes of the realm turned out to be a gambling enthusiast who openly planned to overthrow the king who trusted them so. But despite her chaotic tendencies, Biju's day was eventful, and whatever lies ahead, her journey is sure to be unpredictable as she is. Whether her mischievous tendencies would lead to any kind of corruption remained to be seen. Oh, and one more thing. Wooden shovel. Jonathan time? Jonathan G! Jonathan with the G. Only minutes after waking up in the... I'm fine. Who is messaging me? Hold on. Only minutes after waking up in the mysterious white box, the individual clad in orange proclaimed a new identity. Jonathan with G, or simply Jonathan G, a knight with medieval flair, speaking in a manner that added a peculiar charm to the group's already chaotic dynamic. Like everyone else, they were completely clueless about the strange fantasy world they had been summoned to. An important detail about Jonathan, he, at least at the time, identified as a knight, and his weapon was a pair of metal fists, or the gremlin grenade, which unleashed devastating explosions when activated. Jonathan was sorted into the Cerulean Cup Guild, known for its spirit of empathy, along with 4 other members. However, the harmonious images didn't last long. Tensions flared with their rival guild, the Amber Coin, attempted to kidnap one of the Cerulean Cup's own, the so-called Hot Pink one. Hi, Riz. This act of aggression led to the Cerulean Cup members to unanimously declare Amber Coin as their worst enemy. Fortunately, our empaths eventually managed to retrieve their guildmate. We have 30 minutes. We have 30 minutes. Jonathan G., though brave, wore his heart on his sleeve. His emotions ran high, and he was easily affected by the words and actions of others. For instance, he couldn't help but cause a commotion every time he encountered John Watson, the accused king killer. He also grew visibly oh, why did the music just change? Okay, that was like jarring. He also grew visibly agitated when Elizabeth, one of Jade's sword, referred to him as the loud one, and crying. Well, Jonathan did that often, and for just about any reason. Whether it was Liz touching the gums of the top pink one, insulting his long-forgotten mother, or even refusing to share her melons, Jonathan's tears flowed freely. Jonathan's first day wasn't entirely marked by his screams and tears. Many of the people he encountered treated him kindly, especially his guildmates. One person, however, stood out above the rest. She wasn't just any ordinary individual. She was destined to become the next queen of the kingdom. Which one? Oh, it was Tam, okay. Moved by a sense of honor and purpose, Jonathan vowed his loyalty to her. Eventually, alongside Elizabeth, Rose Bloodflame, and Nino Ina, he ventured into the underworld dungeon. Together, they recovered memories tied to Mori Calliope, taking their first steps in unraveling the mysteries of their fragmented past. Okay, which is gonna be next? Is it gonna be Iris or Ina? The hot pink one! The Lady in Pink's introduction to the fantasy world, was a little different from the others. She woke in the mysterious white box by herself, spoke with the king by herself, and even faced the Stain King by herself. An odd, grueling start it was, but the isolation didn't last long. Once she entered the kingdom of Libestal, her presence made an immediate impact, transforming her lonely beginning into something much more dynamic. After her exhausting and painful battle with the Stain King, she was officially sorted into the Cerulean Cup. Shortly after, when she had her first encounter with the lively members of Amber Coin, that's when Shakira, ever the opportunist, swooped in and attempted to recruit the Pink One to her guild instead. Little did Shakira know, the Pink One was no simpleton. She was someone loyal to her friends and true to the ideals of empathy. Someone who would never betray her guild, no matter what. It was her destiny to be of the Cerulean Cup, and no forces could ever change that. She accepted Shakira's invitation without a second thought. Everyone wants the Pink Woman. This betrayal was short-lived, however, when the rest of Cerulean Cup arrived to retrieve their wayward guildmate. She eventually returned to her proper guild, albeit reluctantly, after showcasing her unique revelation, Light and Darkness, which some dub similar to a fart. She threw herself into the day's activities, completing quests, enduring hushed comments, and earning her fair share of eyebrow-raising remarks. Her journey culminated in the group's venture to the underworld dungeon, where she recovered the memories of Mori Calliope, and also where she was first nicknamed Hot Pink One. Her journey culminated in the group's venture into the underworld dungeon, where she recovered the memories of Mori Calliope, and also where she was first nicknamed Oh, I just read that already, okay. It was a whirlwind of a day for the maiden, filled, for some reason I thought that was an alarm. It was a whirlwind of a day for the maiden, filled with ups, downs, and plenty of chaos, but through it all she had fun, making the vibrant beginning of the Hot Pink One's journey. Okay, so we got 3 left, and then I think I'm gonna go probably just Elizabeth and Marissa. For today. Ina's introduction to the journey began much like everyone else's, waking up in the blindingly white box, disoriented and uncertain. Yet, her experience set her apart as she remained calm. Unlike Peasant the Bay's dramatic exclamations or Tam's barrage of questions, Ina approached the situation with a quiet sense of detachment, simply observing and taking it all in. Perhaps this was her nature, to remain composed and collected even in the face of chaos. The trait became even more apparent during the battle with the Stain King, where she calmly wielded her revelation. Magic book. Violet miasma? Question mark? I don't know. While her companion screamed. When its ability was activated, the book unleashed radiant beams of energy that struck nearby enemies. Her serene demeanor and empathetic spirit naturally led her to her being sorted into the Cerulean Cup Guild. At first, Ina... Oh no! I'm not kidding! I don't want to get copyrighted! I want to be able to upload this! I want to be uploaded up this! Oh, that was scary. I want to be able to upload this. When its ability was activated, the book unleashed radiant beams of energy that struck nearby enemies. Her serene demeanor and empathetic spirit naturally led to her being sorted into the Cerulean Cup Guild. At first, a song of instant fear and distress. I want to upload this VOD. At first, Ina believed this journey might not be as daunting as she feared. The guild seemed filled with empathetic, heroic individuals, and the kingdom's tasks felt manageable. But her optimism soon wavered. She began to grasp the eccentricities of her guildmates. During the dispute with the Amber Coin of recruiting the Hot Pink One, Ina couldn't help but notice their usual antics. Her concerns further deepened during confrontations with Elizabeth and John Watson, leaving Ina to wonder, am I right to be in Cerulean? Despite being surrounded by chaos, Ina embraced her role as the level-headed one in the group. She diligently completed her tasks, made puns whenever inspiration struck, and had fleeting interactions with members of other guilds. Her day culminated in the underworld dungeon, where she teamed up with Elizabeth and Jonathan. That was a fun, them being in the dungeon together. I remember that. After completing the challenge, she regained memories of Mori Calliope. While most heroes chose to retire for the day afterward, Ina's adventures continued. She exchanged friendly banter with Narissa, tackled additional quests, and stumbled upon a peculiar glitch that allowed her to duplicate items. True to her empathetic nature, she refrained from exploiting it and dutifully reported it to the gods of the world. As her day drew close, Ina took on yet another self-imposed task, escorting the two doggos and Bijou to the shores, parting ways with the title of Mysterious Hero the First. She then, or Mysterious Hero I don't know. She then decided to unwind in her unique way by solo conquering the underworld dungeon. A peculiar choice for relaxation, but it was undeniably Ina. Despite being placed in a guild full of quirky personalities, she remained calm as if in the center of the storm. Her composed demeanor and quiet strength suggested that she might be just be the true hero the king had hoped for, one whose traits would carry her far in this enigmatic journey. And then we've got Crony and Gura. Or Tam Gander. Oh my gosh, I almost spilled my drink. The maiden in blue woke in The maiden in blue woke up in a peculiar white box. Her first thought fixated on why everything, her hands, the world, even the people, appeared so square and pixelated. She roamed around asking anyone and everyone a barrage of questions. Is your name Kiara? What are you doing in the corner? The server closed. What does that mean? Her confusion was palpable, and it became evident that she couldn't even recall her own name. This changed when she crossed paths with Jonathan G, who suggested the title The Azure Maiden because of her fondness for blue. While Crony found it poetic, she thought it was a bit too long. Jonathan shortened it to Tam, and Crony in her own floor appended Gander. Thus, her new identity was born, Tam Gander. I don't know why it says Tim Gander, it's Tam Gander. Probably just an accident. When summoned by the king alongside the others, Tam felt a unique sense of destiny. Unlike the rest, she was convinced that the king's fateful words, "Will you," were the prelude to a royal proposal. Naturally, this meant she was destined to be the queen. Brimming with this belief, she shared her newfound truth with Peasant the Bay, who became awestruck at the honor of standing in the presence of royalty. During the battle with the Stained King, Tam unsheathed her weapons, a pair of dual-wielding blades like clock hands, which upon activation unleashed a relentless flurry of attacks. She was then sorted into the Cerulean Cup Guild. Tam's presence in the Cerulean Cup quickly established her as a dominant figure, with her charisma and aura of confidence naturally earning her respect as the guild leader. This was evident during the first major conflict in the kingdom, a heated recruitment battle between the Cerulean Cup and ENreco over the Hot Pink One. Tam's empathetic nature shone as she leveraged her remarkable power of persuasion, a skill she'd already demonstrated when inspiring a Libestan child. With no surprise when the hot pink one eventually succumbed to her words, sealed with Tam's unforgettable declaration, "Nobody wants you except us." As the day progressed, Tam found herself caught in various shenanigans, but yet she always managed to handle situations with an air of maturity. When Jonathan was interrogated by Elizabeth, Tam intervened, calmly diffusing the tension. By the day's end, Tam joined the hot pink one, Mori Calliope, in the underworld dungeon when they recovered fragments of their lost memories. It was a chaotic, exhausting day. This song is loud. It was a chaotic, exhausting day for Tam, filled with triumphs, conflicts, and laughter. She gained devoted followers who pledged their unwavering loyalty. But above all, she found solace in the simple yet profound comfort of having a name, Tam. Though it was given impulsively by Jonathan, it resonated with her, becoming a cherished part of her identity. To Tam, that name was more than just a label. It was a symbol of her newfound self, one she would carry and treasure throughout the rest of her journey. As the kingdom settled into quiet, Tam yearned for a peaceful night's sleep. Surely nothing else would trouble her now. Surely. Tim Tander! Tim Tander! Okay, Gora! Let's go. I want to punch this one. I don't know why, I just have an urge. It was one of the first things Gura said after waking up in the White Room. The target, a blonde maiden named John Watson. It felt like there was unresolved tension between them, despite Gura not remembering anything about her past, or maybe she was just feeling sassy, later casually calling Tam a idiot when addressing her name. During the battle with the Stain King, Gura's weapon, a trident, was revealed. When she activated its revelation, it summoned a wave of water that pushed back enemies. After the battle, she was sorted into the Scarlet Wand Guild, and so Gura's journey began. Like everyone else, her first task was figuring out this strange new world. She started doing quests with her guildmates, but was confused most of the time, thanks to her short brain. All sass with zero intelligence. Luckily, her guildmates included Narissa, Fauna, Shiori, and Cecilia, who lived up to the Scarlet Wand's reputation for being smart. They carried her through most challenges. Not everything went smoothly, though. She got involved in a hit-and-run incident with Cleopatra Eisenhower da Vinci the Great III, and in another instance, drowned after accepting Shakira's challenge to float on water. Yet, despite her shark-like features and literal tail, she somehow managed to drown. Later, Gura teamed up with Fauna and Cecilia to tackle the underworld dungeon. During their conquest, Gura got an unexpected call from John Watson, claiming to represent the Levestonian charity. Predictably, Gura saw through the scam and shut it down immediately. The trio conquered the dungeon, recovering memories of Mori Calliope, though not without some screaming along the way. Their day didn't end there. The group continued exploring the world, with one highlight being the gacha boxes. Gura scored a ridiculously long, pointy red velvet hat that proudly declared herself the appointed point. The almighty appointed point didn't stay mighty for long, though, as Fauna promptly beat her up and extorted some loot. Turns out the hat didn't boost her strength or intelligence. Finally, the three of them wrapped up their day at the casino. While Cecilia made decent profits, Gura went bankrupt. She lost so much money that she couldn't feel her legs anymore. Again, the hat offered no perks. But despite that, she had a blast and was excited for whatever adventures lay ahead. Okay, is that it? Yeah, okay. I already know most of these, so I'm gonna mark all as unread. We're gonna do Elizabeth Day 2. Actually, I'm gonna do Day 3. Just because I watched Day 2. I'm gonna do Day 2. Or Day 3. Oh, the theme song is premiering now! Oh my goodness. That was only day one. Yes. That was only one day. 1 hour we covered one day. This lore is deeper than Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, there are quite a few days, and then there are 2 chapters out. So yeah, let's just read this. But yeah, this lore is crazy, bro. Memories, eh? More flashes of memory surface as Elizabeth awoke for the day. This time, she recalled her interaction with Shakira from the day before. Memories, eh? Upon joining the kingdom, I know the song playing, Elizabeth reflected on her journey this far. Thrown into this journey, devoid of memories, she had made new comrades and forged new connections. Over the first 2 days, she had managed to recover the memories of Mori Calliope and Gargura. Yet she couldn't help but wonder, when would she regain her own memories? She felt as though a part of her was missing, something precious, or perhaps someone. This inner thought lingered for a moment, but Elizabeth quickly shook it off, pumping herself up for the third day of her adventure. Elizabeth, made her way to the quest board in search of more tasks. There, she was greeted by Nerissa, and to her dismay, she became a complete mess in front of the raven-haired lady. Elizabeth had been feeling weird whenever she was around Nerissa, but she couldn't quite figure out what it was. I'm gonna have to read that. Moving on, Elizabeth wandered around and met Cecilia and Bijou, who were engrossed in a conversation about various questionable topics. Liz was dumbfounded throughout the exchange. To her surprise, Bijou suddenly asked Liz to be her mother. Though confused, Liz accepted. Her bewilderment would only deepen further when she learned that her new adopted daughter was already married. As many friends as Elizabeth made, she'd also had her skepticism toward a few, specifically that she suspected of being witches. On top of that list, the mastermind behind the latest lottery craze, Ceres Fauna. Something about this green lady just didn't sit right with Elizabeth, and she wasn't about to let her guard down. Later in the day, she was invited by Raura to tackle the dungeon of the day, the Eldritch Horror Dungeon. Joining them were Callie and the two doggos. During the conquest, while trying to help Mokoko, she accidentally found herself stuck in a ditch. Elizabeth clumsily fell and shared the same situation as the fuzzy one. Nonetheless, they managed to free themselves. Together, they conquered the dungeon and successfully recovered the memories of Ninoma Inanis. Okay, then we'll do Nerissa day 2. Whoa. Alright, let's light up. Dude, day 2. Nerissa made her debut on day 2, joining mid-conversation with her self-proclaimed wife, Shiori, who, at the time, was soloing the second dungeon. Their exchange went as expected for any married couple, playful flirting mixed with odd and suggested banter. Nerissa then had her first visit to the casino, and beginner's luck seemed to be on her side. While the other three were losing their coins and their sanity, Nerissa was winning every single round. By the end, she'd amassed a staggering 1,500 coins, leaving her two guildmates far behind with just 10 coins or even none. It's not luck, you're just bad. Later, with her newfound wealth, Nerissa went to check out the much-anticipated duel between Elizabeth and the hot pink one. Unfamiliar with the context, she simply observed with amusement, smiling at the chaos unfolded. At one point, she tried sparking a conversation with John Watson. However, her natural womanizing aura led Jonathan to mistakenly assume she was flirting with his wife, earning her a sharp scolding. Bro, chill, we were just talking. Nerissa then began a construction of the humble pink house to serve as a communal storage and hangout space for her Scarlet Wand guildmates. She even managed to get her hands on the coveted long hat she'd been eyeing. While she paused construction to join with the other heroes on a journey to the Ocean Temple dungeon, Nerissa found herself in a team with Ina, Callie, and John. Together, they completed the dungeon and recovered memories of Gargura. Afterwards, she returned to finish her pink abode, satisfied with the end result. As if it were a custom for these girls, she decided to conclude her day with another trip to the casino. The beginner's luck only lasts so long, and this time around, fortune wasn't on her side. Round after round, she kept losing. The voices in her head begged her to stop for her own good, but like any true addict, she kept going, muttering just one more round. Despite starting the day as one of the richest heroes with over 1,500 coins, by the end, Nerissa had whittled her fortune down to a mere 92. One more game, she said. Okay, I want to read the, Where is it? Where is it? I hate you, where is it? Fine, I'll go into her. Oh, because that was day 3. Okay. Okay, we're gonna read the thing from day 3. Okay, we're gonna read this. Elizabeth had never thought she'd feel anything beyond her unwavering sense of duty to fulfill her task, protect the king, and safeguard those around her. But whenever she crossed paths with Nerissa, a strange sensation stirred within her. It was a feeling she couldn't quite identify, like butterflies fluttering within her stomach. This day was no exception. In fact, it turned out to be one where they could actually spend some time alone together. This interaction was brief, but Elizabeth cherished every moment of it. She found herself captivated by Nerissa's charm and effortless presence, a stark contrast to her own disciplined demeanor. However, her lofty expectations of the Blue Maiden were tempered when Nerissa revealed her true motivations for Stains and completing the kingdom's quest. It wasn't out of duty or goodwill, but simply to earn money, for purchases, and most notably, gambling. Despite this revelation, Elizabeth didn't hold it against her. Not everyone needed to share her rigid sense of morality. After all, what mattered most was the connection they'd shared, however fleeting. Truth be told, Elizabeth was a fumbling mess whenever the Blue Maiden appeared, and even every time they parted ways, Elizabeth quietly hoped for more moments with Nerissa in the days to come. Can't stop thinking about her. I want to look at this. Whoa, that's sick. Wait, I think I know the person who drew this. I definitely recognize the art style. That's crazy. Wow, the witch will steal your heart. Wow, that's insane. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's go on to. I read Elizabeth Day 1, but I need to read. Oh wait, I need to go back to day two. Previous day. I'll mark that as red, I guess. Who do I want to read? Which one should I read before I have to wrap it up? Darwin Roosevelt DiCaprio Jr. Why does she keep changing her name? I need to hear this. A new day, a new start, and for our girl in brown, a new name. Given how many people struggled to remember her name in the first day, Cleopatra Eisenhower da Vinci the Great III, you'd think she'd choose something simpler. Well, she did, just not in the way you'd expect. On day 2, our owl girl proudly declared herself as Darwin Roosevelt DiCaprio Jr., or simply Darwin. Weird and elaborate names aside, Darwin was ready to dive in her second day in the kingdom. Her first interaction was with Fauna, who was busy constructing her budding business. I definitely recognize this song. I think I mentioned that earlier. Fauna Mart. Fauna explained her vision, a convenience store selling local goods and lottery tickets. Darwin was immediately skeptical, especially when Fauna claimed that 10% of ticket revenue goes to the library. A quick visit to the library, which had a shockingly sparse collection of books, only deepened Darwin's doubts. Later, the two made their way to the quest board when they met Shakira, Cecilia, and Gura. True to form, Fauna began advertising her business again. Darwin, ever the skeptic, tried to warn the group about the potential scams, but her efforts were in vain as everyone became enamored with Fauna Mart. Amid Darwin's exasperated rants, especially about Fauna exploiting illiterate customers, the group veered off course for a side quest initiated by Cecilia, learning German. Darwin, being a self-proclaimed genius, picked up the language instantly, speaking fluently in no time. Their antics continued with more lighthearted conversation, including discussion about satisfying videos for men. What? And Darwin's untouched Kindle. That's real. My Kindle's broken, actually. So, when it came time to try the hat gotcha, Darwin surprised everyone by pulling the long hat, representing the Scarlet Wand Guild on her very first try. Gura, in particular, was left flabbergasted. One standout moment came when Darwin reunited with her guildmate Shakira. Initially, Shakira accused Darwin of betraying the Ember Coin and joining the Scarlet Wand, but Darwin revealed that her apparent betrayal was part of her role as a spy. Finally returning to their main objective, Darwin, along with Gura and Cecilia, tackled the Ocean Temple dungeon. Upon conquering it, they successfully recovered Guard Gura's memories. Triumphant, the group returned to their kingdom, with Darwin entertaining everyone along the way with her trademark horse noises. They ended the day by unwinding some good old-fashioned gambling. Wait, did I have everything? Okay. I need to mark everyone's for day 1 as red. because I really didn't mean to undo it. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize it was Sunday. I thought it was Saturday for some reason. Oh, because I don't have school tomorrow. That's why I thought it was Saturday. That's where I'm gonna stop it though. No more reading because I need to but we did day 1 and then 3 of day 2. So I'm not nowhere near, I'm not anywhere near, being caught up at all in the slightest. Whatever. Okay, chat. That was very fun. I enjoyed that, and I can't wait to not have any idea what's happening. Okay, I have to wait for... Okay, bye everyone. This was fun. I'm probably gonna read more on... I'm probably going to read more on Wednesday. So yeah. Bye Atlantic. I'm probably gonna read more. I'm gonna read day 2 on Wednesday. I'm gonna try and finish day 2 on Wednesday, and since I won't be on a time limit, at least until like I have to go to bed. I'll try to get a lot more done than I can, and then I'll try to read all of it over the summer. So, bye everyone. Bye. Bye 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 bye.